After 5 years, a new album arrives. What inspired you to the process and the production of the album?
Sorry, what inspired us to do that?
Yeah.
Complacency. No, I don't know. That's not true. To be more clear about that, so we finished our last show of Feed the Machine tour in 2019 at Rio, Rock in Rio. And then we had planned a summer tour for the next year to do a cover-to-cover album tour for all the right reasons. So we had no plans to make an album. And then when that tour got canceled, obviously, as did everybody's tour, we took some time away. So we had about a year and a half that we went away. And that's what I was meaning by at some point we were like, late 2021, we really should get going, because we felt like making an album at that point. Early 2020, like we had just finished touring the album for over 2 years, or almost 2 years, a little over 2 years there. So we were like, I think we needed some time away. By the time end of 2021 came around, we said, yeah, it's time to get back to work again. So, and it felt good. It felt like we wanted to get back in the studio.
Amazing. And we noticed in music, series, movies, that the 80s nostalgic movement is on the rise again. And what do you believe that has made people and also the band more nostalgic?
I don't know. Like, I mean, I think people in general are. You have moments where you think back to moments in your life that hopefully were good. I mean, not everybody has those moments, but I mean, we try to pick the good ones out, right? That one in particular, those days, we rented a house in a ski village called Whistler, which is just north of us here, about an hour. And we rented it for about 10 days. And then we went up there to write a specific kind of song, not those days. We were angling for something else. Just let's get some inspiration from a different place. And then those days came out. And I think it's funny. As far as songwriting process, if you're interested, it's you start playing something that interests you different ways. Sometimes it's a word, sometimes it's a phrase, sometimes it's music. We don't have one way to do it. So we had some music, and then remember when the insert something, like remember when the streetlights came on, we had to come home. Remember when Elm Street came on. I remember when Elm Street came out of his mouth. That's when I was like, okay, I'm feeling like this is like, I know we've got a photograph. It was like about our hometown. It's about the good feelings of our hometown. But before I moved to that hometown to meet Chad and Mike, when I was about 13, I grew up in a different town in the 80s. And so I had all these different kind of memories. And when he said that, I'm like, oh, this feels like an 80s thing. And I don't know what it is, but I think obviously everybody has their time frame. The 80s were such a good time for me. So we're like, let's chase this. And then the chorus is for everybody. You know, every movie made for us. Not everybody grew up in the 80s.
Yeah, not me, but I love the 80s.
But I wonder what that is. It's like, I always hear people say, I love the 80s. I don't always hear them say, I love the 60s. I mean, really, even though, Matt, there's some great stuff in the 60s and 90s, don't get me wrong, but it is a thing, right? Isn't it? I don't know what it is. So there's touchstones from the 80s that just really made us happy. And so we just chased, like, hey, we can write 50 songs about love. Why not about nostalgia? And during the pandemic, I think people they went back and listened to a lot of their music that they really loved, whether it's from the 80s or not, but just nostalgia was something on people's minds.
That's true. Do you intend to come back again on tour with the new album?
Absolutely. I don't have a date, but absolutely. I've said this before, my only regret is not coming to Brazil earlier. I really wish we had, because every time we come down, it's been so much fun. South America is great. Brazil's amazing. We've had such a great time there, and Rock in Rio for sure. The 2 times we played it. Yeah, keep your ears open. We're definitely taking this album to you guys, so for sure.
And the band has always been experimenting with different sounds and pleasing various audiences. What new things we can expect for the Get Rolling era?
I'm interested to see how people, I mean, I've seen some reactions to the album, but I'm looking forward to, like, you know, High Time is an interesting song for us, because even when I first heard it, Chad played, he had written it with a couple other guys. And this is at the very beginning of when the pandemic kind of happened. He played it for me. It's interesting. It's a good song. It's a country song. It was very country. It didn't sound like it sounds now. It was very country. And I'm like, I think it's good for another band, but maybe not us. I said, but if we did take it, my perception was, I said, I wanted it to, I said, maybe we can give it an edge, more of an edge with us that makes it make more sense. So I said something like a clav. It was that kind of clav sound that in the background. And my point of reference was up on Cripple Creek I didn't grow up listening to it, but I've been listening the last like 15 years or so. I really enjoy that kind of. It's kind of gives it a bit of a southern rock kind of thing, and then it just really twisted a bit. And then Mike came in with this really interesting bass line. So that will be interesting to see when we play it live how people take that, as well as maybe Tidal Wave. Tidal Wave was a nice surprise. It didn't feel like a Nickelback song when we were writing it. So if time allows, and if the fans are happy with it, maybe we'll roll that one out too. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
And for the last, leave a message for the Brazilian fans.
Like you said, the last show was in Rock in Rio, and the fans are very well known to be very crazy down there, very insane. The energy is so infectious. It's so amazing, and that's why I had said before, where I regret not coming down a lot earlier, because that's how we feel about it down there. So all I can say is, obrigado to the fans in Brazil. Honestly, it's well known that we've got a lot of fans down there with us. So we get very excited when we start talking about a South American tour. Keep your eyes open. We will definitely come down and tour for you.